One question on everyone's minds is, Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma, two names who have carried Indian cricket for the last so many years. Now they are not in the team for various reasons. Virat is going to be back for 50 overs and all that. But there is talk now of the future. So what is the future for Virat and Rohit, according to you?
Well, I feel both are outstanding cricketers. I think they're great players, I would say, and I think they have done great service to Indian cricket over the years. They have won many matches, extremely fit, and I think they still have a lot of cricket in them. And I'm sure I think whenever there is a important event, I think they will be back in the team.
But there are indications.
I'm talking about T20 matches.
Right.
Are you talking about test matches?
Yes.
Well,
Also.
test match is an integral part of the Indian team.
Yeah.
And they're great players, and I'm sure they'll continue. Because I'm a huge fan of both of them.
I'm talking about all formats because this is that kind of year where we have important events in all formats, including the 50-over World Cup and then the World Test Championship, and of course then there's IPL and so on. So their future overall, and they are both in their mid-30s. Again, it's people do play on till 40 now, and there is talk currently of planning for the future.
Well, you can
What do you
plan
read of the indications so far?
Well, you can plan for the future. There is no harm in it. Definitely, you should plan for the future. But the fact is that I think they are still a very good. They're in great shape physically and mentally because they have won so many matches in the past. They're in great. Because I always believe as a selector that the form and fitness is very important.
Yes.
I think age is no criteria in cricket. Virat Kohli is supremely fit, and I'm sure I think they will play all the formats of the game.
Yeah. Okay. But when it comes to planning for the future and easing a certain generation of players out and planning for the future, so what is the kind of conversation that you have with senior players? You've been a chief selector yourself. So what is the kind of talk that you would have with somebody who like Virat or Rohit?
See, it's very important. Suppose if they're in form and they are fit, I think they always come in the team straight away. But as I said, that you have to groom players as well in the team, and that requires vision and courage of conviction. You have to watch matches and you have to see how they are playing for India A team, under 19 team, and all those players. And if you can groom them at the right time, I think the timing is very important. If I was selector, I would have picked I think Umran Malik on the tour of Bangladesh. I think he would have been the ideal bowler to bowl in the 5-day game.
Yeah, you were mentioning that. Can you? What is it about Umran that you like so much, apart from the speed? And
well, the pace is important. I think he's quite accurate also. I think he bowls in good areas, as they say, and the pace is very important. I think he can unsettle the best batsman in the world, maybe. I think with the sheer pace, and and that is required in the Indian team at the moment. I think we don't have bowlers who are bowling 150
right
at the moment, and if you go to England or if you go to Australia, West Indies for that matter, I think these guys, I think will play havoc.
So we have a really busy calendar as every year, but then this year there's also the World Cup and the World Test Championship and so on. So how would say, how should the team go about, how should the administration go about ensuring that the team peaks at these events? Because what we saw in 2022 was, yes, we did play well in patches, but the big prizes eluded us.
Well, that's part of the game, I would say. But of course, Indian team is doing extremely well of late, though they haven't won, as you said, big games. But they're capable of doing it. And and in all formats of the game, it's not only the Test match cricket, but in ODIs as well as in T20. But then players, I think, will have to adapt, to different formats very quickly. If you are playing a 5-day game or a 4-day game, you can't play reverse sweep and get out.
Yeah.
That's what I feel, because these are important formats as well, and how you adapt to those different format is very important, because you're good enough to play in all formats. So put the best foot forward and adapt to those formats.
I guess that's because of the influence also of playing so much 2020, and that shots that you shouldn't be playing in a longer format, you end up playing that. Would you agree?
Well, the influence should not influence you. Important fact. This thing. The fact is that if I am playing a 5-day game, I'll play like a 5-day game,
Right.
because after all, I think I want to win the match for the team.
Yeah.
I can't say that well, that's my game and I'm going to play like this. If you're playing like this, then you play only one format of the game.
Yeah.
Then you don't play longer format of the game.
Right.
As simple as that.
Right. Okay. But again, we come to the this classic dilemma that a young player might face, which is, are players today motivated about other formats other than 2020, or is the whole thing, or are they primarily motivated for that big IPL contract?
No, as I said, in cricket, all formats are important, and I'm sure they would like to play Test match cricket. See, because you are rated only because you have a test match runs, or a contribution or a performance in Test match cricket.
So that matters.
May not be in ODI, a T20 format.
Yeah.
So Test cricket is ultimate,
Yeah.
because that tests the skill of a player.
Yeah.
That is the mental toughness of a player, the mental maturity of the player. So I believe that Test cricket is very, very important.
Yes. So within the player community as well as at the selector level, Test cricket will always remain important.
Absolutely, question about it.
But then there's a huge money angle to the IPL, and that is why players tend to sort of be focused on that. So is that sometimes a distraction for young players?
See, if you see that there may be, I think, 1 or 2 players, I think, who cannot adapt to this T20 format. Otherwise, most of the players who are playing Test match cricket, they can play in all formats of the game.
Yeah.
But the other way, I think may not be possible, because Test cricket, how you face a short ball,
Right.
that doesn't happen in T20 matches, 1-day matches. It's white ball,
Yeah.
or whatever, if it
Yeah.
goes over.
Yeah.
But in Test match cricket, you have to face a short ball. You have 4 slips and a gully in the place, forward short leg or whatever,
Yeah.
and then you have to face the heat.
Yeah.
And and the bowler can bowl, I think, 8 over spell.
Yes. Okay, so Test ticks the box about that. Okay, the player is a real player if he's good at tests, and then 2020 ticks the popularity box and the money box. Where does that leave the 50 over format?
Well, 50 over also is very important. I believe it has also.
How can it thrive? Sorry to
is-
interrupt.
Sorry.
How can it thrive?
So you get crowd anyway. I think, but at the 1-day matches.
Yeah.
See, if you go abroad or if you play in India,
Hmm.
it's going to be full house,
Hmm.
because it's a full game anyway. I think 50 over match. I think Sachin has scored double 100.
Hmm. True.
Rohit Sharma has scored maybe twice or thrice maybe. So you see the best of cricket in 1 day itself.
Yeah.
So of course, I think that format is here to stay. All formats are very important. That's what I feel.
Yeah, yeah, they're important, no question. It's just that some are not, ratings-wise, some are not doing as well probably. And I think 50 over is currently in that, somewhere in the middle.
See, in
Except, of course, if it's a
50
world-
overs, people used to think, that the middle overs become too monotonous.
Mm.
And at 20 to 40 overs,
Yeah,
because the power game starts early, and then the last 10 overs, as they call it, death or slog overs. But I guess in that period you can have good spinners, you can get wickets and get you back into the game.
Yeah.
So of course, spinners can also play important role because they are bowling 10 overs.
Yeah.
I think it's not just 4 overs,
Yeah.
and they can get wickets.
Yeah.
Because if you see in 1985 when we won a Benson Hedges tournament in Australia, I think Ravi Shastri and L. Shivaram Krishnan bowled absolutely brilliantly in those middle overs. And that, of course, I think was very, very important for us. And that was one of the things that were instrumental in us winning the cup. And against the best teams like Australia or England or West Indies or Pakistan for that matter.
Now, Dilip, you said a few months ago that if given a chance, you wouldn't mind getting back to administration. And you said you would do an even better job than some of the people who are there. So, if you were to come back to administration, what bothers you the most? What is the first thing you would sort of change or?
See, now I'm in Apex Council, so I'm not
Right.
supposed to be here, to be honest with you, and say all these kind of things because. But anyway, that's okay for me. But I think domestic cricket, I think has to be given its due. That's what I feel. And I think it's not rocket science. The thing is that maybe in South, at the Bangalore, you can play in the month of July, August, September. And there might be a series against Sri Lanka or maybe against England. But apart from that, it is very important for all international players to play in domestic cricket, at least in Irani Cup and a Dilip Trophy. That's what I feel very strongly.
Yeah.
Because what happens that if they are absent and an ex-player score 100, in a double 100 for that matter, they say, यार किससे खिलाफ बनाया उसने ये तो नहीं था वो नहीं था that sort of thing, you know. So then it becomes exercise and futility.
Correct.
Important thing is that if you can get I think all the international players to play, I think in 1 month and play Irani Cup and Dilip Trophy, then you would get to know all the players in action, and then selector's job will be much I think easier for that matter. So they can see the players, they can see the fast bowlers, the spinners, the batters and the fielders, everything. It can happen in Bangalore, it can happen anywhere else, but only in southern part of India. And in those months, July, August, September, October. And it's a question of 1 month should be given to domestic cricket. That's what I feel very strongly.
Okay. And do you while we are on the BCCI, do you think a BCCI president should be advertising online gaming brands or different products? What is your take?
I think I'll leave this ball outside the off stump.
Asia Cup is coming up. That's another big event on the calendar, and it's going to be played in Pakistan. Do you think India should play there?
Whether we should go and play in Pakistan or Pakistan comes in India, I think the job, I think the decision of the government basically, and government has to guide the board. Separately they take decision I think in this matter, so we can't say anything on this.
Yeah. But does it weigh when you go to a region where there's history and you have played so much in Pakistan? So does it? What were some of your experiences like? Does it weigh on the players' minds that okay, there's some tension between us? Does it affect players at that level?
If you see, I think the pressured games were in Sharjah.
Okay.
When the equal numbers of Indians and Pakistanis. See, if you go to Pakistan, I think the crowd won't support us.
Yeah.
Or if they come to India, they know the crowd won't support them.
Yeah.
But if you go to Sharjah, those that I'm talking about,
Right.
when we started early 80s,
Right.
those were pressured games.
Right.
But we enjoyed it, I think, playing against Pakistan, definitely.
Right.
Because I think it brings the best in you. It separates men from boys, as they say.
Mm.
Because there's so much pressure in the game, and you want to win all the time.
And about your role in the Apex Council, the Players Association, what are some of the issues that you're going to tackle?
No, but domestic cricket basically.
Mainly that, okay.
That is mainly that. Other things and his issues, the pension
Okay.
for the first class cricketers. Of course, they pay the pension, but from 1 to 25, or from 10 to 25, those who play first class games. Maybe that is one of the issues that we have to go and discuss.
Yeah. How do you keep up this passion for cricket and for Indian cricket? You've been playing for so many years. You've been in so many roles and continue to be in them.
Actually, to be honest, I enjoy talent spotter's job, because there I could see under 14, under 16, under 19 games all over India, and I could see talent there.
Did it take you back
And I was
also to
Yeah.
your days?
Yeah, and I could see, I think, who are the players I think who would play for Indian future. And we had picked those players in those 4-5 years, under 19 players or whatever. And then we groomed them in National Cricket Academy those days. And we saw a lot of matches there also. And later on, if you see that all those players we had picked, I think played for India for at least 10 to 12 years later. And of course, apart from that, I started my cricket academies because I wanted to give something back to the game, as everybody says. But I was happy that I could do something for cricket. And when I started my first academy in 1995, now of course at 27 years now, I have one in Chembur, one at Churchgate, and one in Chinswad. And one I'll be starting in New Panvel now very soon. I have given opportunities to thousands of cricketers. I have given excellent platform to them. Many play for Maharashtra, for Mumbai, for India in IPL, and those who could not make it, they got jobs as well. Because many guys from banks, from corporate world, they would come to me and ask for कि आपका opening batsman कौन है, आपका spinner कौन है, आपका fast bowler कौन है, अच्छा कौन है, आपका wicket keeper कौन है, and I would tell them कि these are the players what we have, so they would pick them. So a lot of players also got jobs. So I'm happy what I've done the years.
Awesome. Okay, I guess I'll throw the anybody has questions in the audience.